What's up? It's your boy Carcino. Let's talk about it. Now, every year, people seem to be so caught in the Puff and Big and Suge and Pac over and over. They want to go over the night. Biggie was shot and all of this stuff. And I don't. I don't dwell on that. There was so much going on that was more interesting. Who did the setups, and for those who are intrigued, they have people that do that stuff. You know, I just don't see a sense of doing it. That's just me. So I give you the beginning. When Biggie met Puff, he thought Puff was full of it. He thought he was full of it, man. He was just like, alright, we'll see if this dude is who he say he is or he about what he about. And that was only because Puff was optimistic. Very optimistic. Positive energy, positive vibe guy. And Big is a realist to the core. Big was like, look, I'm hustling and I'm doing this rap thing. Y'all say it's cold. I think it's cold. But y'all saying we can make money. So y'all got to show me. So make some money then. So once Big sees something tangible, then he'll start buying into it more. So far, he just going along with it. But convinced, without a shadow of a doubt, this is a hit. They gonna make it. Just straight positive energy. So optimistic. And Big like, whatever, man. You say this thing is real. All this stuff seem real. Once we start seeing some money, Puff would be like, the money will be there. Don't worry about it. Then, the rest was history. Now, a lot of people don't know that Puff was not the shiny suit, dapper guy that you see today. A lot of people think that was him even back then. That was never him. They grew each other. They grew up together. Puff used to wear these big down coats, leather caps, wool caps, t-shirts, chains around his neck. He used to look like the rappers. He was the hype man. He'll come out, hype the shows. He knew all the rhymes. And he knew, I'm better to getting this going than hiring a hype man who don't believe in my project. Or just get one of the guys that's cool with the rapper. I need to be frontline and center. Just like he used to do at Howard. So, naturally, they evolved together. And as they grew, Puff became more business professional. In other words, now here come the suits. Now he's a record executive. So they grew together. So for him, when people was like, oh, well, he wasn't really with Big. I'm like, why would he want Big to fail? Why would he want Big to fold when Big's at the height of his career? Biggie wasn't trying to leave Puff. Puff wasn't trying to leave Big. He was Puff is convinced they gonna make it. They're gonna be all right. Now, as everything starts to for a better term, play its way out. He wanted Big to be successful. He wanted him to make money. That makes him look good. He tried to help Craig Mack make money. Craig Mack didn't want to make money. Not like that. He wanted to continuously be the hardcore rugged MC. So him and Puff parted ways. Because they said, this the direction we going in. This is where the money's at. Craig Mack said no. So he said, all right, gonna be the hardcore MC. We over here. Now, Big was bad with money. That's true. He's young. You know, he was 22, 23, around that time. No one taught him about money. He didn't know nothing. So the best thing for him was to continue the same route he was on. And that's what he did. He stayed on the same route and kept putting out hits. But he was just bad with money. Plus, his album only sold like 2 million records. But with 2 million sales, they were able to right the ship. They had all the eyes and ears. The hardcore MCs, the clubs was theirs. But Puff wanted to teach Big, we could take this to another level. Method Man, Mary J. Blige. When Mary J. and Method Man came out, and they did All I Need, and they put out the single where Puffy had his version, the RZA had his version, they put out the instrumental, they put out all of these mixes and made it a Maxi CD. And a Maxi CD is about 4 or 5 songs, and it's different from an EP, ladies and gentlemen. The EP is a collection of songs that just don't exist, well, never was on the album, and they're usually about 8 songs, about 25 minutes to about 30 minutes. So it's like a mini album. That's it. A Maxi normally has a remix of the original song, a club mix, a reggae mix, an instrumental, and probably one other song. But it's, It's the usual format. Now, what makes this more interesting is the fact things changed. Puffy saw the success of that single. That single was selling more than the Method Man album. Puff came through the door, was like, man, that Mary J and Method Man, man, that did way better than I thought it was going to do. He started seeing the Maxi single report and started seeing how much money they were making off that alone. Puff had an idea. Puff said, I got it. What we need to do, instead of putting out these singles, we gonna remix it and start making these maxi singles and putting them out. So while the album is making money, you know, people ain't gonna run out and keep buying the same song that they already love unless you give them something a little new. So they did One More Chance. It was a whole new record. They redid it. Whole new record. Put that out. Put some more songs on there. The One More Chance sold about 2.5 million records as a max CD. 2 million. Ready to Die sold 2 million records at that time. That single sold about 2 million. Puffy made remixes to all his groups, 112, everything. He showed Big how to continuously make money. He said, Big, all you got to do is write for these artists and you know, and get on these records, do these remixes, and I'm hitting you off. Here's 30, here's 40, here's 60. Puff was giving him money and saying, for all this work you doing, you getting hit off. Because Big kept coming to him for money. Like, I can't do a show tonight, I ain't got no money. Because Big would blow his money and just basically extort and hold Puff up. Puff would have to go send him some money. So Puff began to keep Big working. If I keep Big working and doing this and making some money, then Puff feel good about giving him the money. So naturally, Puff is excited when all the revenue is coming in from Total, 112, all of it. So naturally, this was the way to go. It was growing people in a direction where they would be acceptable to what was happening, the change, the whole nine. People just had to be able to accept it and grow. So Big was in a position when people say Biggie was broke when he died. Big was far from it. Big had a 30-city tour where at that time it was unprecedented for a rapper to be paid 30 G's for a performance a night. He was so excited to do that deal. He was going to perform 30 shows, getting 30 G's a night. 30 cities. He was already booked for it. Paying him 30 G's a show. He was so proud of it, he rapped about it in his album, Kicking the Door. His going rate was 30 G's a show. So anybody believing that Puff wanted to harm Biggie, believing in sensationalism, knock yourself out. But argue it with facts. Why would Puff want to harm Big when that could cripple his entire company? So they said, well, why did Puff do that remix to pay Biggie's funeral costs and all that if Big had the money coming in? Biggie had money coming in, but Puff is a businessman. Puff knew we get together, do a Bad Boy tribute album, quick. The revenue off that song alone and that EP that they put out promoted Puff's album that was in the works. And not only did that, it made so much money, it was ridiculous. He performed that song with Sting, and it solidified Puff was going to be an artist too. And he was like, man, look what they did for Big. Faith singing The Hug. They got 112 in there. They got everybody on there. Then on the B-side record, you got the Locks on there. It was what it needed to be. So it wasn't like they couldn't pay for the expenses. Big had money coming in. Big had money still coming in. You think Miss Wallace is broke? Just again. All those writing credits that Big had. Now Big sold all his publishing to Junior Mafia and Lil Kim and broke up on Diaz. But Kim was his artist. He got $1 million for that. And they broke up on Diaz. But Un was still around during the time. Because Un knew Kim, Un knew everybody at the time, but Un went and got his deal with Sony. And he got Cameron and went and got some other people to launch it. And it just didn't work out. But Big always had a plan to try to be a record producer and put out his own artists and write for them. Puff just knew he could work with it, something, and make it better. He was more established. Plus, he can pay Big. But like I told you, Big was bad with money. At least at that time. You got to have it, blowing money at the hotels, doing this, buying stuff he didn't need. Taking care of people, it's becomes a burden. but they grew together. You know, Puffy wasn't really nothing before he had Big. You know, he was a guy working at a record company when they met. So they grew together within a short period of time. So anyone believing that he want to harm this man, you know, I don't even know how y'all even put that in y'all brains. But anyway, man, I'm out. Don't forget to support the page. Hit me up on the Cash App. Carcino the name on the Cash App. And you can hit the donate button in the Streamlab too. I'm going to get out of here. Deuces.